What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 93 of the Finale Podcast. Today I'm joined by Nahum and Yossef to preview week two and look back on week one of the NFL regular season. So, guys, it's been a while since we've had you on, especially for the NFL pods. How have you been over the offseason and since we've last seen you on the Finale Pod?
Hey, I've been great. Honestly, just been counting down till football. Just been
No.
watching a lot of just rookie camps and just I've been super stoked. Week one was definitely lit, so I'm excited to talk some football for sure.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be back, Markos. This is like a hallmark of my fall. Get to come on the pod, talk some football, So best time of year. Can't wait for Sundays. So thanks for having us on, man.
Of course, man. We can just dive right into it real quick. You know, Me and Yosef, Vikings fans. Nahum, you're obviously the odd man out, Giants fan. Matched up in week one. It didn't go in the Giants' way. Let's just say that. So I just want to get your thoughts, Nahum, on how your team performed.
You did not tell me you were gonna start off with this. This is like
Just,
a
this is
this,
off the cuff.
to be honest with you, Joseph watched my whole unravel emotions throughout the game. I was super high in the beginning. We unveiled our jerseys, 100th season. We had LT out there, Carl Banks, Bill Parcells. I was feeling myself. Right when Dexter Lawrence had that sack, I was like, oh, yeah, it's going to be one of those
Mhm.
games. And then we forced that fumble. And then right when I seen us just go for 3 points and like settle like right then and there, I had a weird feeling about it. And I think that just took the momentum of the game. And then, the crowd started booing the first quarter after that really nasty drive I seen. And so after that, it just went downhill. And I think it was really bad. I think this could be worse than the whole 40-0 to the Cowboys last year. It was that bad to the point where like I'm thinking like Daniel Jones is coming off an ACL injury. I understand he's not going to be Brady in that game, but he just looked too scared. He looked skittish. He looked uncomfortable. He looked like he didn't even trust his own line when we have a new and improved own line. Coaching used to be our advantage, and I thought Kevin O'Connell did an excellent job. Brian Flores did an excellent job at really just knowing what we wanted to do. And I want to just say coaching on our side was pathetic. I think our defense, we play zone now, and it doesn't look right at all. Sam Darnold was looked like Mahomes out there. And I think Brian Dable's like inability to be creative with the play calling, especially with Malik Neighbors on board, I don't know, man. I At this point, if we don't win against Washington next week, yo, Jones, you're gonna have to sit down. Honestly, like I'm like fed up. So
Wow,
yeah,
that was the most Vikings phrase I've heard come out of this man's mouth, man. Thank you, Markos. For that one out.
Yeah, we had to start off with that. I think how the game started for sure after the Dexter Lawrence sack and then CJ Ham fumble. You guys had really good field position there, and then not being able to score, and then again, like you mentioned, not having the confidence to go for it. Whereas in the Vikings in a similar position, were on fourth and goal and they went for it, and Justin Jefferson had the man on man on Banks touchdown easy. I think that just shows the confidence in the quarterback, the confidence in the offense to execute in that position. Also, like on that third down, that was a really good tackle by Van Ginkel there because otherwise, Daniel Jones strolling into the end zone. So I think overall, yeah, Vikings defense was really good. I feel like all the new additions to the Vikings defense made plays. You got Turner, the rookie, getting his first sack in game one. I think Grenard had an impact. I think Tillery had some pressures. Van Ginkel, obviously, pick six, key tackle, as I mentioned. Overall, across the board, even Shaq Griffin, I think, had decent coverage, and then Gilmore. So just really good day for the Vikings. I feel like on both sides of the ball, Aaron Jones as well. Nearly got 100 yards. I just think we played really well. The play calling on Kevin O'Connell's side, it was just a really good balance of running and passing. It was really good to see Jalen Naylor get that touchdown, especially with Jordan Addison now being out. I think he's going to have a good role. And then obviously, you could see Tristan Jackson, who was really good for us in the preseason at wide receiver. He could be elevated for this game against the 49ers. So I think really good start for the Vikings. Giants, not so much. I mean, you even had Jonathan Grenard saying like we felt bad for Daniel Jones, which is, I mean, that's kind of crazy. And then you had, Ivan Pace midweek. Ivan Pace, what would he say? He was like, um, he's like, we're not worried about them. Basically, I was just like, damn. Even the Vikings are not even like there to talk like that, but like the fact that they were so confident. I mean, credit to the Vikings, but I think Neighbors was solid debut. Had some decent catches. I think especially when you consider, Marvin Harrison's debut. You mean you can't complain if you're Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to continue to get involved in the offense. He's going to be really featured. I felt like you guys definitely missed Saquon Barkley though. I mean, Singletary was, he didn't really get too many opportunities, I guess, running the ball. With you guys going down early, but just as a pass catching threat, I don't think he's that guy. Um, and then yeah, I think overall you guys just have to find a way to make it work with Daniel Jones. But yeah, that's just my breakdown. How about you, Yosef? Just real quick, what do you think of that game?
Yeah, I mean, just to quickly start on the Giants side, I think, like you mentioned, the really undervalued part is when you don't have that much pressure coming out of your running back position. And what that does is that does allow the defense to be more cover, friendly and allow the four guys to just rush and they don't have to fill the box or whatnot. So I think that was the unsung reason why Daniel Jones maybe had such a poor performance, but he's had games without Saquon before. But Malik Neighbors, absolutely love what I saw from him. I think he
Yeah.
definitely has potential to be the best wide receiver out of this class, which is saying a lot. Brian Thomas Jr. having a good day, a few other guys around the league having, good day, good showings for rookie receivers. But man, I can't believe you said, you talked all about the Vikings for like 2 minutes and didn't mention the name Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? He started the game 12 for 12 or something like
10 for
that.
10.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Just
true.
fantastic. Like when you talk about guys who can win a championship, without being a great quarterback, you think of guys like Brock Purdy probably being the cutoff point at which talent will allow you to win a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold might be that cutoff point for a franchise guy. Not saying he could win the Super Bowl, but definitely someone that you could start out there and feel comfortable with as long as you have all those other pieces on defense, coaching, running back. If you have
Mhm.
all those other ancillary pieces, having Sam Darnold there, just he looked confident. He looked like he understood. The whisperer was whispering in his ear, telling him what to do, and it was beautiful. I wasn't the biggest believer in Sam Darnold, but looking at it, I think we have a chance to win 7, 8, 9 games, even make a run at the wild card position in the playoffs. So I'm excited for what the Vikings can do with Sam Darnold, especially when T.J. Hawkinson comes back, when Addison gets back, all that good stuff.
I just want to say, based on what you guys have, like with Sam Darnold at quarterback, like if it was any other coaching staff, I think this is a 4 or 5 win team. I think with Kevin
Agree.
O'Connell and Brian Flores, like their code, like their experience and like their schemes fit like the Vikings perfectly.
I
So
agree.
yeah, they have a chance to make the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like last year even the Vikings were a competent quarterback away from making the playoffs, even with Kirk Cousins out. I think it just got so bad that they honestly couldn't get anything out of it. But yeah, I think you guys make great points. I also want to shout out Darisaw and O'Neal. I feel like just overall the blocking, I feel like was pretty good after
Yeah.
after that sack. I didn't really notice Brian Burns make an impact too much in the game. I heard his name called a couple of times. You saw, a couple clips of Thibodeau not being able to get around Darisaw, and I think that just shows you how Darisaw is continuing to progress as a player. He's gonna have a really good test this week with Nick Bosa, but yeah, shout out to the O line as well. That's been a problem that we've been mentioning for most of the Kirk Cousins era, and it was good to see what they were doing the other day, and that's good for Aaron Jones as well. I like what he did definitely towards the back end of last season. I think people don't remember like how instrumental he was in getting the Packers to make that run to the playoffs, and win
Yeah,
that playoff game. But I think he's going to have a really good impact with us. I think Todd Chandler paired with him will also be positive. So, just a lot of good things I saw from the Vikings. And yeah, and we'll have
yeah,
TJ Hawkinson coming soon, so it's only going to get
yeah.
better. But yeah, let's get into these topics. First off, we might have already touched on it if you're, going to mention the Giants here, but one surprising or disappointing performance from week one, starting off with Nahum.
I would say the most surprising for me was definitely, I would say the Patriots going ahead and just, under new leadership, Gerard Mayo, being able to go in there and just get the win. I know there was no T. Higgins, and I know Jamar Chase was dealing with an illness and he hasn't been there all week. But I mean, to be honest, that's Joe Burrow and like an established, that's supposed to be a playoff team, caliber team. And for Gerard Mayo to go in there and just give it to them, and they just looked like a Bill Belichick team. Like they were super physical on both sides of the ball. I think Jacoby Brissett he did pretty well, and Ramondre Stevenson was really solid. So I think that was my biggest surprise. Um, so yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I absolutely love that call out. I think it's less so about like the Bengals doing bad, but more shouting out Mayo. I think that's a great emphasis on that. Um, I think the most surprising thing for me slash disappointment, I this
Mm.
could be a more wide-ranging thing, but just the overall lack of quarterback play in the NFL in week one was really disgusting to see. I think a lot of it might have to do with just like a lot of teams not playing the preseason and whatnot, whatnot. We hear all that hullabaloo. I think the issue is ultimately it's a lot easier for defensive lines to just attack than it is for O lines to be on the same page, straight out the gate in week one. And that might have contributed to the lackluster performances of the quarterbacks in week one, not just the rookies, all across the league. I think Sam Darnold was probably one of the best quarterbacks on Sunday, maybe right outside of like Lamar and Anthony Richardson. So it's like Patrick Mahomes, of course. So it's like it's kind of disappointing to see week one, but if I had to like zoom in a little bit more precisely, I was really disappointed in the Bears offense. That was probably the most fraudulent win that I've ever seen from a quarterback. There's no way in hell you win without scoring a single touchdown. I mean, unless you're Mike Tomlin led Steelers team, like there's no way the star-studded Bears with multiple different wide receiver threats, multiple different running back threats, great, tight end play from. It's just I didn't, and without being said, obviously the rookie quarterback phenom Caleb Williams coming in and dropping a total of 90 whatever yards. It was really really disappointing to see. I would think that he's going to get better and his accuracy will improve, his processing speed will improve, his decision making will improve. But until I see it, uh, yeah, Jaden Daniels too. There's a lot of bad quarterback play in week one that was very disappointing to me.
Okay. Those are some good calls. I would say for me, Carolina Panthers, just their performance, that was really bad, especially, first game, new head coach, made some offseason additions, Deontay Johnson receiver. You're expecting a little bit more from them. Year two, Bryce Young. I didn't really watch the game, but just to lose in that manner is very disappointing to a team that you shouldn't be losing to like that. The Saints are decent, but like you shouldn't be losing by whatever that was, almost 40 points. So I think that's for sure going to be my pick, and I want to see them improve because I was actually optimistic with that coaching hire. I'm forgetting his name, but I know he was the offensive coordinator last year with Tampa Bay, and I think had a lot to do with Baker Mayfield's resurgence. So hopefully they can improve on that because it's just looking like really sad for the Panthers right now. I was looking that they had dropped their ticket prices super cheap. Fans aren't coming to games, which is going to be disappointing. I think this is their first home game this week. What else? I was going to say something else. What were
I
you going
hear
to say?
it was like $1.50 for a Carolina home ticket.
No way.
Yeah,
I heard
yeah.
that's
It was
crazy.
something bad like that. Yeah.
Wild.
Damn.
Yeah, no, but just very disappointing if I'm a Panther supporter to see that. But I mean, there's a lot of season left. Things
And
can change.
what do you think about Bryce Young in specific? Like, do you think there's hope for him?
Um, yeah, I think there's hope for him. I honestly, I think they just need to get a really good team around him. I feel like he can perform well with good pieces around him, but he's not. sort of the guy to, uplift you and take you out of a dire situation like they're in right now.
Who are the quarterbacks in
That's
the class other than
uh
CJ? Anthony
yes, Anthony
Will Levis.
Richardson.
Will
Will
Levis.
no, not Will Levis was? Yeah,
Yeah,
Will
Will
Levis
Levis.
was.
Somebody else, right?
There's got to be somebody else. Rookie quarterback from last year,
I'm just
Aiden
gonna say,
O'Connell,
yeah, okay. I
guys like
got
that.
Aiden O'Connell over Bryce Young. Like I got Bryce Young all the way at the
Yeah,
bottom.
it
He's
doesn't.
not the number one overall pick. He's like a fourth round pick for me right now. Like he looked like he didn't know how to play football.
It's
It
so
was his
bad.
first time. He's also
Yeah.
still looks like he's one hit away from being in the hospital. He just, I mean, I get it. He bulked up a little bit. That's what the report's saying. But I mean, he just looks too small. And if you're that small, you got to be mobile, and he's not even mobile like
Yeah.
that. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Or you need a big arm. He doesn't have a big arm. He's not crazy accurate like Drew Brees. Like there's not one particular thing that he's just like good on that you can really like scheme around. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what it is. It's crazy. The fall off
Mhm.
between Alabama him and this him is just it's disappointing to see, I'm not gonna lie. But if I'm the Carolina Panthers, man, just what a crazy trade.
That sucks. That trade really like just set them back a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. No more
Yeah,
Brian Burns, DJ Moore,
right.
draft picks. Just
And
basically gave away the first round pick for Caleb Williams.
this
Like,
is
oh,
they went heavy on the defense. They went heavy on offense to see what they have in CJ. I mean, to see what they have in Bryce. And they
yeah,
sold out. They gave away all their defense. That's why they have 40 points, putting 50 points on their head. Is they gave away all their defense to build around, a guy, drafted him a first overall wide receiver, drafted him. I mean, brought in a couple O-line pieces, try to make his life a little bit easier. And man, it's just glaring how bad of a quarterback he is. I honestly don't think he has much hope in the NFL. I don't even know if backup is an option, to be honest. Just open wide. I don't know.
I think it comes down to ownership as well in these situations. I mean, we've seen plenty of quarterbacks, kind of like we're seeing with Sam Darnold right now, reviving their career elsewhere in different situations. I think it's just a bad situation going all the way up to the ownership
Yeah,
in Carolina, putting their players in these positions that they're not going to be able to succeed. I mean, look at draft selections over recent years. You selected J.C. Horn over Pat Surtain. Like, I think that's kind of where it starts with draft selections and putting the players in position to succeed. I mean, it's not like they were gonna. I mean, I'm pretty sure they were always gonna pick Bryce Young. It's not like there were reports that came out like, oh, they might have picked C.J. Stroud. I think Frank Reich wanted C.J. Stroud or something like that. But they were always gonna pick Bryce Young if they got the first overall pick. But it's like decision making. Like, is he the type of quarterback where you trade all your assets to get a quarterback like that? Like, I don't think he's a Joe Burrow type of prospect coming out, an Andrew Luck type of prospect coming out. I think they could have been a little bit better about making that big trade. I know they were, had thoughts about trading DJ Moore and guys, trying to rebuild a little bit, but I don't think that was a move to make. Looking back on it, because they just traded a lot for a quarterback, where I think they could have done a little bit more patience in that regard and kind of built their team around a little bit better. But they kind of set themselves back now, and it's not really helping out the rookie quarterback who's in a position now where he just has to contribute. It's year two, a lot of pressure, and the position to win is it's not there in Carolina right now. That's just my thoughts on it. Especially
Yeah.
in that division, like you shouldn't be struggling that bad in NFC South. No offense.
It is only week one though, so
yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, true. I mean, we saw the Broncos, last year. And then they all
That's the name of the game for the Bengals. Rough couple week one, week two, and then they go make the playoffs. So we'll see if these other guys can do it.
Yeah, no, it's early. It's early. Okay, so league news. Let's start off with that Tyreek Hill situation. I mean,
Your
that's
quality went down a little
honestly.
bit.
Oh,
Yo,
did it?
yeah,
Hold up. I noticed it too. I thought the volume went off. One sec. Oh, one sec.
yeah, no problem. Yeah, man.
All right, how about now?
Oh, beautiful, perfect. Wow.
You
Hello.
guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, technical difficulties. No, but all right, that
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill situation. Let's get into that a little bit. So obviously,
yeah,
pre-game, we saw the videos that came out. We've seen, I'm assuming you guys have seen the news that's come out since then with, body cam footage and everybody's reaction to the situation. What are you guys just overall thoughts on how that's all unfolded?
Yeah, man. Honestly, like I've been going back and forth watching the video, listening to people's takes, and I haven't really settled anywhere concrete with it.
Hmm.
But ultimately, like this is bigger than football, in my opinion. Like this isn't
Yeah.
like this topic is like it's very intricate, and it's just ultimately like I don't know how like how deep we want to get into this, but there is just a dynamic between black folk and police officers in this country that is just really hard to overlook. And no matter how much power, fame, influence, money you have, like ultimately, like at the end of the day, you're still a black man in America. So it's like no matter how rich or powerful you are, like you're never big enough to get humbled by a random state trooper that, cites you for going too fast on the road. So ultimately, like what happened there was really disgusting and a disgrace. And Tyreek Hill said it best. What would happen if I wasn't Tyreek Hill? Like that's a legitimate question that a lot of black people in America have to face because they're not Tyreek Hill. So it's just unfortunate. Like, and like he was speeding. Like it's not like what I'm saying? But like a citation ends, I mean, that whole situation is supposed to end in a citation. But because a man with a badge got his feelings hurt, all of a sudden a black man's on the ground, with his chest getting pressed up on the ground. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, that's something that we as a country have been dealing with. But just to see it happen on this stage, right in front of the stadium to a man like Tyreek Hill, everybody looks up to. Like imagine seeing your favorite player, like being defamed like that. So ultimately, I think this is really sad. But hopefully, the awareness that he brings about the situation will lead to some good. And pressure needs to be continually mounted on these organizations, on these to our like political office holders to make sure that people are being held accountable when injustices are happening in that system. So
Yeah, I just want to add on. He was on my fantasy team, so that really
This
hurt me.
guy. Yeah.
I'm playing with you. In all seriousness, no,
This
like
man was.
I'm just playing around. But no, like to add on to Yosa's point, I really think like I watched the video and I think towards the end of it, somebody was like, "That's Tyreek Hill," and they're like, "Oh snap!" Like they froze, like they knew they messed up, and it's really unfortunate to see. I think that I mean justice needs to be served as far as like holding people accountable. I think that like a lot of officers sometimes have ego trips. A lot of them do protect and serve the community, but in situations like I've been in a situation like that, not to get off sidetrack, but it's really scary and it's tough if there's no one around. Like that could have went super south really quick. So I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad, he's still balled out. But hopefully this brings awareness to people around the world for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think it will, just with a player of Tyreek Hill just being such a high profile figure in the community. I was just shocked when I saw the initial video taken by someone like passing by. I was just like, why is he handcuffed, first of all? And then once you see like how he was manhandled and like that excessive force that was put on him, being put to the ground and all, and, like just the way he was being talked to, and then his teammates, same way that the way they were treated when they, came and they were concerned. I think it was just like an abuse of power, a power trip in that instance, and it does definitely highlight how the roles would be easily reversed if it wasn't a player of Tyreek Hill's or a person of Tyreek Hill's status, where we've seen this happen plenty of times in this country, and people aren't able to get out of it. I know Tyreek Hill obviously, got stopped for speeding. That's what people are saying, and obviously he says himself that he could have handled the situation better. But I think just the fact that he has to go to those lengths and hold himself to that standard, I don't think is fair. Because not everybody has to hold themselves to that standard when dealing with police. Honestly, like he was saying, he just wanted a ticket and to be gone. He didn't want to deal with anything else, but they felt like they needed to escalate it, and we could see by the reaction of the police department putting that officer on administrative leave. We can see by one of the officers reaching out to apologize to Hill. We can see by the evidence that like obviously they feel like they were in the wrong in that situation, and it doesn't matter whether you're a player of or a person of high caliber, you should just be treated equally. But even they just felt like I just felt like honestly that it was just like a total misuse of power and just a very sad sight to see. You could see how his teammates were affected by it. The head coach obviously got emotional about it. I think it's just definitely brings a light to underlying issues that are not underlying, more so just glaring issues in this country that, have yet to really be addressed. And it starts from the top, like Yosef was mentioning. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that because I feel like, as part of a sports community, sports podcast, that's part of sports. Politics is within sports. I think even if we want to avoid it, I think it's part of the conversation surrounding these athletes, especially um, in the Black community. They face this, constantly. So with this situation happening to someone like Tyreek Hill, I feel like we should have, talked about it. But yeah, just wanted
Sure.
to talk about that real brief there.
Yeah.
Then kind of going on a more positive note, second topic I wanted to go into was how are the Packers going to do with Malik Willis starting? Jordan Love had a really good performance first game of the season in Brazil against the Eagles. Tough how it finished for him, going out with that injury. But Malik Willis, he's going to have the opportunity now. Was recently traded there from Tennessee. He's got an opportunity to start, really good opportunity with that team. How do you guys think he's going to perform with that Packers offense?
To be honest, I actually heard that Jordan Love was questionable for week 2. Like I heard he was questionable. I don't know why
Is
he
he?
started laughing. Yeah,
I mean,
they
questionable.
grade one. I
Hold
mean,
on,
they
hold on,
did
hold on,
a
hold on.
grade 1 ACL sprain. So I mean, that's
I
like the
thought it was a
lowest.
3 to 4 week muffle.
I mean, he's questionable for week 2. I don't know if that's just to throw off the other team or not, but
Yeah, where are we getting at with
But
that?
what I was getting at was essentially, if he isn't playing, I think Malik Willis will not have a great game. Regardless, I didn't like what I seen in Tennessee. I try to give him a chance. He just isn't an accurate thrower of the football. He kind of reminds me of like a rest in peace, but Tavares Jackson from the Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think it's just
Sit
gonna be a
there.
run heavy game where they're gonna rely on Josh Jacobs. They paid him good money to carry games, so I think Josh Jacobs is gonna get a good amount. I think their backup running back, I forgot his name, Emmanuel Wilson or something like that. I think he's gonna get good reps, and he's really nice. I think it's gonna be really short, intermediate routes to the receivers. They're all speedy, So I mean, Christian Watson might have a big day with like some jet sweeps. Jaden Reed with some slants, but nothing explosive to be honest. I got them losing, so
Okay.
Yeah.
they should have got Ryan Tannehill. Just saying,
Please,
but
please, please leave Tavares Jackson and Willis out of the same sentence, bro. Tavares Jackson, like, may God rest his soul. He was an
yeah, rest in
amazing.
peace. But
He
like,
was a
I'm
level,
I think
different
I know
level.
like he's
Tavares
like a
Jackson was
poor man's Tavares Jackson.
a dirt poor,
Okay, just poor man's.
disgustingly
I mean,
poor. All right,
I'm not gonna
let me
speak
get
about
into my
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
I'll get into my take here. This is Tavares Jackson just threw me off. That is disrespect, blatant disrespect to my Vikings legend. I can't go for that, but
How is he a
um,
legend? I'm sorry, but
he's a
like,
legend to me.
okay, to
Yeah,
you.
he's my child. He's literally
Uh,
our childhood,
I
bro.
mean, that's fine,
He's
man. He
trying to
made the play.
defame a dead man. All right.
Dude, come on, dude. Don't make me feel weird about it now. Come on, dude.
All right, look, Tamari Jackson's like that. I just want to say for all the kids watching, go do some highlights on YouTube. But man, when we talk about Willis at quarterback, I think you touched on it a little bit. There's multiple lenses to view this with. First of all, the GM as well as LaFleur signed off on him, said if anything happens to Jordan Love, we'll bring this guy in. He's young and doesn't have that much experience in the league, but we believe that we can win in a couple of games or whatever in between the absence of Jordan Love. That is what you're telling me when you sign a guy like that as your backup that has very little experience in the league, that hasn't shown to be a winning player in the league by any means. So first and foremost, I think there's a lot of pressure on the GM and LaFleur to do something with this. So now you have this guy, and you knew he had some time was going to play, and you had some type of confidence in him to bring him in as this backup quarterback. When there was guys like Ryan Tannehill on,
He hasn't learned the system though.
Who, Willis?
Yeah.
He's been there since the offseason.
No, he just got traded like week 1.
August.
August, right?
End of August.
I
It was like
mean, that's training camp.
he
That's
still
not
hasn't learned the whole system. He was in Tennessee, so it's like
that's crazy work to me. But regardless, like you bring in a young quarterback, they will be very cooked to see. I honestly don't think he'll perform. That this is ultimately where this stemming from. I don't think he's a starting level, even a backup level quarterback as of right now. Maybe once he gets some more reps in, he could turn into a backup level quarterback in this league. But from what I've seen in Tennessee, he cannot. His accuracy is not good. He can't stay in the pocket. His pocket awareness is not good. His touch on the ball is not good. His decision making is not good. I don't know how the Packers and LaFleur are going to use this guy, but ultimately, what I see the Packers leading into is a more run heavy, defensive heavy game. And that's the only way they can get away with even going 500. Because if they rely on the passing game and they rely on Willis at all, they will lose the games. And they will continue to lose games until Jordan Love comes back. I'm pretty definitive on this. This is where I stand. It's pretty gross work to bring him in as a backup. I don't think they believe in him, and they're really setting him up for failure. And we'll see how these next couple of games go.
Was that right, Marcos? Was he questionable for week 2?
Yeah, no, that's a new development from today. I didn't even see that, but yeah, he's questionable. But there was, an article I read the other day that was saying that Malik Willis is gearing up to, play in that game against the Colts on Sunday. So I don't know. I mean, initially we saw the report. It said 3 to 4 weeks. He avoided a major injury, but they said 3 to 4 weeks. So I mean, I'd be very surprised if they put out Jordan Love on Sunday. But yeah, I saw questionable. So we'll see if that's the case. But as for Malik Willis, I mean, yeah, it didn't show a lot. Was traded for a seventh round pick, kind of shows you what he brought to the Titans. You know, the fact that a rookie quarterback again was drafted the year after his rookie year just kind of shows you that, the Titans didn't see him as their guy. Now, obviously, he's young, he has potential. A new situation. We've seen other quarterbacks like Zach Wilson get in the offseason, going to a new team. Could work out for him. We'll see. But he definitely has the tools in this offense, a really elite running back, a plethora of receiving talent to rely on to, just honestly be a game manager and function in that role. I think if he can find that and find his feet with that, I mean, that's gonna be a positive for the Packers. They'll definitely help them, with the decision to bring back Jordan Love and, kind of elongate that process a little bit, really ensure that he's back to full health when he comes back. But yeah, I wouldn't be too optimistic from what I've seen, but I know it's a better situation in Green Bay. So I think from that point of view, you can look at it a little bit differently and kind of say, okay, there is a possibility for him to, come in there and be, a Jacoby Brissett, how about that? Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett got a W last week.
Yeah. I mean, game manager,
I don't think he's there yet. I think it's just disgusting in my opinion. Having him as a backup coming in for Jordan Love, you go 0-2, 0-3 to start the season. You're digging yourself out of a bad hole in the NFC North, and that's a great division. So
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I mean,
true.
if the Packers want to make the playoffs, Willis will have to perform.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I just want to say that Malik Willis could surprise us as far as just his mobility. I think he's a tremendous athlete, and he could, they could just switch up and tweak the offense a little bit and run a little, zone runs and read options and play actions. And just, LaFleur is a great offensive coach, so he's gonna scheme guys open and kind of make them look a little decent. I mean, you said the pressure's on LaFleur. I don't think it is. They gave up a seventh round pick. I mean, it's better than like signing like somebody off a practice squad. So I think Malik Willis I think he will be able to, move the ball a little bit. It's not going to be complete like a shutout or anything. So,
And I like where you're going with that. And I'm not
Yeah.
really saying it's completely on LaFleur. Ultimately, it's a backup quarterback. You don't ever intend on your guy getting injured. But I do think LaFleur will have to he does a lot of like motions before the snap stuff that might help him out. Like you said, doing a lot of like running options for him and things like that, short dump downs, and they could make it through. But ultimately, it's just like you have veterans that you could have signed that were on the market, and
Like who?
Ryan Tannehill was like
I don't know, man. That
Joe
man's
Flacco was
39.
Joe Flacco was on the what's it called?
Joe Flacco's on the team.
Yeah, now he's on a team, but
He's been on a team.
he's been on the team since the beginning of free agency.
Oh, you talking about like
Yeah, like you
a few
could have
months
made
ago?
the play to get a like this is what I'm saying though is like when you push back the idea of having a backup quarterback, it's kind of like arrogance in the front. And, like you're just like we can do whatever with whatever we have is kind
Yeah.
of the idea there. And then well now like the buck stops with you. You say you could do whatever with whatever. Now it's that point to show us what you can do with Malik Willis. So uh, we'll see how he does. And if LaFleur wins a game with Malik Willis, color me surprised.
Hey, put him in coach of the year type of talks.
Damn near.
I think honestly, I think there'll be a little bit of an acclimation period. Even as good as LaFleur is, we saw how long it took Jordan Love to get going last year with his real first opportunity. So I think, you know, with someone of lesser caliber like Malik Willis, it might take even longer. I don't think anybody's a magician just because they're offensive coach. I think LaFleur is good, but it's going to have to come from um, just with that offense is going to have to come from Malik Willis to really get the best out of that team, because I feel like still, you can't really heavily rely on Josh Jacobs just yet. I don't think he's found his feet with that team yet, but I mean, they have a lot of weapons that, you want to get the ball to, and we'll see if Malik Willis will be able to contribute with that. I just think from day one, I don't know if it's gonna, click right away. That's just my takeaway.
That's fair. And if you want to compare Malik Willis to a Vikings quarterback, there's a plethora. We can go with like a Christian Ponder. Before then, we could talk about other different guys. But Tavares
Yeah.
Jackson is great.
I think Tavares Jackson was just so mobile. Malik Willis was mobile. Christian Ponder was mobile, but he wasn't,
Yeah, for sure.
mobile.
You could have called him like Daniel Jones. You know what I'm saying? Tavares Jackson.
We got fun with this, huh?
No,
Week
it's a good
one.
time, bro. I actually Tavares
He coming
Jackson.
off an ACL injury. I think
Yeah.
anybody would be looking a little skittish.
I think it's low key like a slept on topic about Daniel Jones as he's coming off ACL.
And
We're giving Rodgers
neck injury less or a year and a half ago, like he's definitely scared for his life. That offensive line did not do him any favors for
No,
6 years.
definitely.
So
I was gonna say
let him settle in.
Yeah.
Right? Let's just let him settle in.
the Vikings won in the trenches, and that was kind of surprising because your D line's kind of nice, but I was
just the
just
scheme. Yeah, and I honestly, you're triggering me now. I don't even want to talk about that game no more.
type shit. It's
Yeah.
okay.
All right,
Holy-
before we go into the final topic of upset pick, is there any other topic that we want to go into real quick, or
I just
what do we
want to
say?
say,
Yeah.
who do you guys think was the best looking rookie out there
Oh my god!
out of all
Ooh.
positions? It doesn't have to be quarterback.
They all stunk.
Really?
Ooh.
In my opinion. Let me think.
Ooh,
I'll
that's a
go
good
first. I'll let
question.
you guys think
Go ahead.
about it.
Yeah.
There's probably a whole bunch. Honestly, I can name like five, but I'm gonna just go with Lad McConkey. I think he fits the Chargers offense so well, and I grabbed him on my fantasy because I had that feeling. He just fit the Chargers so well. He knows how to run their like type of offense, Jim Harbaugh type of offense. He knows how to sit in the zone. He reminds me of like a Hunter Renfro, like Cooper Cup blend, where
Hmm.
he can just get open, and he's just that like security blanket. He scored a touchdown, which was really disgusting. He made like two guys fall, and then he just walked in. Um, I thought he was impressive. So
Yeah.
he's gonna have a big season with them, seriously, especially with the run heavy
Yeah.
type of thing, and then he's gonna be wide open because they're playing the run.
Yeah.
So
Shit.
That's
Even
a
on
good
that
pick.
team, I think there's a core rookie on that team that's just as good. Joel Delete,
Joe, yeah, facts.
He's-
Wait,
Yeah.
Joe. Oh
Yeah.
wow, they have. Oh wow, yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot Joel went there.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Joel looked good too.
Great pick. Great pick. Chargers looking good, man. Harbaugh looking good. Is he a rookie too?
Yeah, he is a rookie, right? Re-rookie.
I mean, technically,
Yeah.
super senior. No, but I'll go with probably just Xavier Worthy. Easy pick. I mean, couple
Three
of
targets though.
touchdowns.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, easy pick. I mean, but he did get, that corner from since he kind of was testing him a little bit. He said that all he has is speed. So I
I
expect
know, man.
Xavier.
I'm playing against him in fantasy, so if he lights it up, I'm gonna be mad.
I'm expecting, a good week from him. I think there were some rookies that are definitely going to go off. I feel like in the second week, um,
Yeah.
like Marvin Harrison, I can see that for sure. Um, I think Dallas Turner for the Vikings was
I
good at
thought you were
getting a
gonna say
sack.
Dallas Turner.
I was gonna say him, yeah, getting a sack, and I just felt like he made his imprint, put his imprint on the
He's like
game.
an NFL
Definitely,
star already.
yeah. No, I mean those Alabama rushers. We saw Will Anderson the year before. I mean, I think he's gonna be really good for the Vikings, and especially with Brian Flores. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there any others that I'm missing? I mean, when you look at the quarterbacks, um, yeah, Bo Nix even
Brock
like we didn't
Bowers,
mention him. Like
for-
Brock
Oh
Bowers,
man.
okay. Yeah, I didn't watch that game. Chargers played Las
yep,
Vegas, right? Yeah, I didn't
yep.
watch that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You
definitely
think
those are
Bo
my
Nix?
two.
Well, what were you about to say about Bo Nix?
Oh, Bo Nix. I'm just saying just another rookie quarterback that we didn't mention who also played very poorly.
Yeah, there's too many of them to mention, I guess. I guess my favorite rookie this year, actually, Malik Neighbors is right up there for me. He looked like a pro already. He looked phenomenal. I wish he just had more, stable quarterback type of situation, just a better offense that he was in to showcase. Me and Nahum had a bet at the beginning of the year to see if he would be 1,000-yard receiver, and I bet the under on that. Ultimately, if he
Hmm.
was in a better offense, I'd be cooked. But like it's only because he's in that offense. But my favorite wide receiver has been Brian Thomas Jr. coming out of the draft from LSU. Man, LSU just produces wide receivers that are just animals. And this guy is 6'2", 6'3", long, athletic. Gets the ball at the point of attack. Scored a touchdown. One of the only rookies to do that for week one. But ultimately has already had some type of understanding and just a good chemistry with Lawrence, which is amazing to have as a rookie. So I love what I'm seeing from Brian Thomas Jr. Can't wait to see what kind of player he develops into. But in that same vein, Keon Coleman could easily be wide receiver one in Buffalo. So a lot of good wide receiver prospects out there. But one topic I actually wanted to talk about was Kirk in Atlanta, and ultimately who's going to
Oh
win the
yeah.
NFC South. It's a bloodbath down there.
I think it's gotta be Tampa Bay, the favorite still.
Mhm.
Um, I still think they look good, both sides
Yeah,
of the ball. Um, they look good. They played the Commanders, right? I
yeah.
think they look good in that game. Um,
Hard not to against the
yeah,
Commanders.
we can no, but we can. I mean, that's a Dan Quinn over there running the defense. I mean, new new offense as well with Cliff Kingsbury, Jaden Daniels. But I think we can touch on. I'll touch on Kirk a little bit. Because I did watch that game back with Pittsburgh. I mean, first of all, just shout out to that Pittsburgh defense. I mean, oh my gosh, they just got pressure after pressure after pressure, and then just made that offensive line of Atlanta look like Kirk was back in Minnesota. He just had no time, just kept getting sacked. The last play of the game, didn't even get a chance, just sacked. Um, I mean, just elite defense. And now that they have a quarterback, two quarterbacks that can actually get you wins, I mean, that's probably a playoff team. Sneaky good team this year, I would pick. But as for Atlanta, I mean, Kirk Cousins, I thought just a little bit of uncharacteristic of a performance from him, throwing two interceptions. I think just kind of showed the lack of chemistry that he has with the receivers right now. You don't have the level of receiving talent that you had in Minnesota. Drake London is he's one for the future. I think you can look at him and be like optimistic a little bit, but I don't think he's that guy yet. And same thing with even though Kyle Pitts caught a touchdown, I don't think you can
Yeah,
rely on him heavily. And I think that's where you saw them rely a lot on the run game with Bijan, who, can get them he can do well for them for sure in a workhorse role, but I think their defense, I would say their defense was good. I think the offense just has to help them out a lot more because when you have a defense that good and you're throwing picks and you're putting your team in bad positions, even against I mean, the Steelers offense wasn't all that, great. I mean, Justin Fields, it's not like he was
no,
picking them apart. Like he's not that type of player, but like they kept it close enough for the Atlanta Falcons to, make some things happen, especially at home. I think was disappointing week one. But I'm looking to see the receivers get more
yeah,
consistent because that's really where it's going to come down to is consistency out of the receivers. And you haven't really seen that in their careers from Drake London and Kyle Pitts just yet. And like that's really the guys who you look to right away to provide that. So that's where I'd be a little bit concerned if, I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan
yeah.
and the
Yeah.
blocking, especially. Yeah, the blocking. But yeah.
I was actually going to get right into the trenches with
Yeah.
Atlanta. Atlanta has this good defense, but even the defense we're talking about, DBs and whatnot. In the trenches, they don't generate enough pressure on the defensive side of the ball, and then on the offensive side of the ball, like you said, they're not protecting the quarterback good enough. They're not giving Bijan holes to really run in. So ultimately, like you have a lot of these like skill position players in Atlanta, and even they might be better. Like they might be a little overhyped like Drake London is no Stephon Diggs, no Adam Thielen, no of course no Justin Jefferson. So it's like where like I think Adam Thielen in 2017 is better than what's Drake London right now, and Kirk was thrown to him. So it's
Of
like
course.
there's a downgrade in talent that Kirk is throwing to. I think we a little
Yeah.
overhyped the offense that he was walking into. Like you said, Kyle
On
Pitts, of
yeah.
course.
I'll
Yeah,
just want to add real quick, like, sorry, but on paper, the Falcons have always looked really good with this offense, but just in actuality, it's a completely different story. I mean, 18 carries for 68 yards for Bijan Robinson, that's just not good. Leading receiver was Ray McLeod, who was decent in the game, but like that's not going to get you anywhere. That kind of like just really shows the underlying problem right now with this Atlanta Falcons team. They're expecting a lot out of those guys that are on paper are supposed to be really good, but like, can you rely on them right now? I don't know. But
right.
continue, my fault.
Hey, no, thank you for adding that context because that's really exactly what I was trying to get to. I think on paper they look good, but even when you start sparsing it out for a little bit, it's just not gonna work. Kirk Cousins coming off the injury doesn't look as good as Aaron Rodgers. I think that will be a learning curve for Atlanta, but tough decision. We might even see Penix in, but ultimately, I think their guys need to get better. I think they need to continue to draft. I think they're not one quarterback away. And maybe we're overhyping this one game one performance. They just ran into the buzzsaw that is Mike Tomlin's defense. So, but that could be it too.
I just want to add, we've seen Aaron Rodgers come off the Achilles. We've seen Kirk come off his Achilles. We've seen Daniel Jones come off his ACL. I think coming off of week one, you're not as mobile, you're not as confident in your abilities because of a major injury. So we're just gonna have to let it see. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
for sure.
I think like people are just writing off quarterbacks so quickly, but then they forget all the rehab they went through, all the things that they've been through. So yeah, and
Yeah,
honestly, I think it would be hilarious and funny if Kirk just collapsed in Atlanta for a Vikings fan at least, because the whole tampering thing and like him just like saying, "Oh, I want to
Mhm.
be a Minnesota Viking," and then he goes to Atlanta, gets paid the bag, then they draft his replacement right then and there, and now he thinks he's gonna like go
yeah,
crazy with Atlanta. I think that's just karma, maybe,
yeah.
maybe, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
agree with what you're saying. Like with the week one stuff, like a lot of it is that like week one, the lack of preseason preparation, it comes down to in week one, defensive lines have the advantage because you don't need as much chemistry to attack the quarterback as you would do to defend the quarterback, and that could be what's going into a chemistry issues with the wide receivers, things like that. Like some of those just take real live reps, and that stuff favors the defense, frankly. So. That could be.
I think Atlanta's like offensive line just never really got on a rhythm, like as far as
Yeah,
pass block schemes and
completely
even
agree.
run blocking scheme. Bijan didn't look all that impressive. So I mean they had a hard test. So we'll see what happens next week. Who are they playing? Anybody
Um,
know?
Yeah, I can see right here. They're playing the Eagles.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, Monday night.
I mean, that's a
Well
less defensive.
I
Yeah,
mean it's still good it's a good defensive matchup for
yeah,
Kirk. So we'll see
yeah.
what happens. It's
Kirk
gonna be a
lit
good
him up
game.
last year. The
Yeah, with the
Eagles.
Vikings
Yeah,
on
with the
Monday night.
Vikings.
I
Yep.
remember that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Different
we'll
roster though.
see.
He's gonna wish he
Yeah.
had Justin on the other side.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll
Kirk just
see.
he doesn't look fully healthy. He can't take. He's not doing his regular
he
like
doesn't,
under
but you
under the
can't even
snap.
put Michael Penix in because then that
Yeah.
just stirs the
No,
pot
you
even
can't.
crazier.
You
So
can't. Unless he
Nah.
gets like yeah, unless he gets re-injured or something, you can't put in Michael Penix. And honestly, I don't think Michael Penix should come in. I don't like
he
that.
doesn't.
I don't
He
like
doesn't
that.
have to.
Yeah.
No,
He
he
was
shouldn't.
probably the best quarterback performance. To be honest,
Who knows?
Michael Penix was the best quarterback
I
performance in
mean,
Week
he's
One.
he's the oldest with the best arm with the best accuracy. So, I mean, yeah, I think he would have done great. But it's okay. 1 year sitting under Kirk is a great thing for rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think they just got to get the receivers going though, because it doesn't matter the quarterback back there if the receivers aren't getting open. I
Right.
think they
True.
need more depth at receiving for sure. Like, I don't know why you're relying so heavily on guys that haven't proven anything yet, in my
Right.
opinion. I
Darnell
think
Mooney.
yeah, you need some depth in that. Darnell Mooney was, decent addition. I think they added Rondale Moore, right? If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
But
Yeah,
he's a
but
smart guy. I think Drake London's actually like a wide receiver 2 or 3 on an actual like contending team. They need some type of help.
yeah, that's pretty much all I'm saying. That's what Kirk Cousins has had since he's left Washington. So I think
That's
that's
what I'm
what you
saying.
need.
Even with the Vikings, he was spoiled.
No,
Like
stump
he was
spoiled.
spoiled, and he didn't know what he
Okay.
had until it's gone now. So
Even like Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook has produced more than Bijan has in the league. Like, let's be so honest. Like, he's
I
had
mean,
great.
yeah, no doubt,
we can't speak
no
on that
doubt.
yet.
I'm saying as of right now in the
Of
league.
course,
Yeah.
Bijan. This is Bijan's like
Yeah.
15th game.
Facts. And in
So
15
Would you
games,
guys say like Bijan's a bust?
nah, that's
No,
wild.
I'm playing. I'm
I
playing.
think
I'm playing.
a
That's
bust.
wild.
No,
But I do think he's
I'm
a
just playing.
little.
I was playing. I
I
was
do think
playing.
he's a
Overhyped.
little
A
overhyped.
little overhyped.
That's what I'm really insinuating with the Dalvin Cook take is he's a little overhyped. But
Yeah,
He
no, I was
wasn't. He
playing.
didn't. He didn't look like Saquon at all when he was a rookie.
he's smaller than Saquon. He's a
Yeah,
lot more agile type of
but
build.
like when Saquon was running his rookie year, you were like, "Wow, that's generational."
I
Like,
wish he was
wow,
under the lines. Like Jahmyr Gibbs looks so good, and I can't tell if it's whether that's that O line or if it's him. If imagine Bijan under behind center, in blue, like who knows?
true. Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, last topic, upset pick of the week. What do you guys have for that?
Would you like to go
I can
first?
I can start. I can start.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll just go with mine real quick. Vikings over 49ers. I'm gonna pick that
I
five
like
point 5.5 point underdogs on the spread right now. The reason why I picked that is I think last year we kind of saw how well the Vikings offense looked against that team, especially when they're ticking and the Vikings play them at a point when they were ticking and kind of saw like, yeah, the 49ers defense was really good, but really weren't able to get pressure on the quarterback. And yeah, it's a different quarterback this year, but I think with the way they were able to protect against, I think, pretty good pass rushers in New York, I think the same is going to hold true, especially when we saw the same matchup against Nick Bosa last year. And they don't have any other real legit threat that I would be worried about, even in the interior. So I think the Vikings will have a pretty good day, offensively, and it's going to put a lot more pressure on the secondary, which I wouldn't be too confident in guarding Justin Jefferson. So I think I like that pick, and especially with the Vikings defense being a lot better, I think they got like 2 interceptions and forced some turnovers last year against Brock Purdy. So I like that spread right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that pick. It's just I don't know if we'll be able to hold up against the run. Just watching the O line of the 49ers last week just completely move the Jets out of the way. Like that was a topic. I love the Jets, and I was watching them last weekend.
they'll be prepared for it though. Watching that,
Yeah, I hope so. But there's not much you could do to prepare for that man, Trent Williams. Like he's coming at you.
just
So
one player though.
yeah, no, they have a couple of guys, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. But if we can get a manage of like their O line, the trenches system, they've always beaten us in the trenches, and finally the Vikings are getting better in the trenches. So was it just because we're just taking advantage of the Giants, or is it because we actually have dominance in the trenches? Like, is that something we can actually
Real
exert?
test.
It's a real
It's a
test.
test.
It's a real test. So I'm excited to see that. But I love the pick, Marcos. Way to be a homer.
Well, man, hey man, hold on. It's a really good pick, I'd say, because one, the 49ers have nobody on the interior that's as good as Dexter Lawrence. They don't have the depth on either side of Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. I mean, we were seeing in the offseason like that was being the best pass rush duo in the league, Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian
yeah,
Burns, which I mean, just they were saying like top three. I'm like, oh, I don't know, but I mean, they didn't show it against the Vikings, who have probably one of the best tackle duos in the league. And now their interior is getting a little bit stronger, their protection's getting better. I think this is a pick that people should make if they're trying to, get a little bit of a come up. That's all I'm saying.
wow,
On real
I
quick.
love that.
I
Okay.
personally think it's going to be can the 49ers like know Sam Darnold's tendencies or is Sam Darnold going to know how to play that defense and know their tendencies?
Right. Right.
it's whoever can get who at this point, I think.
That's good.
Because he's studied under Brock Purdy for a whole year. He knows how their
Hmm.
system works, and they also know how his tendencies work. So we'll
Yeah.
see what happens. Honestly,
Yeah.
Yeah, my pick for an upset, and this kind of gives me the opportunity to talk about both of these teams, is the Browns over the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are favored by 3 right now, last time I checked. And I think the Browns, I heard this amazing stat. I'm a huge Stefanski fan. I think he's a good head coach in the league. Maybe not like elite level quite yet, but really good. And there's a stat saying like after a loss, he's the third best head coach. He has the most winning record after a loss, like, and that puts him third of all time. And it's like 17-8 or something. So it's like he knows how to bounce back from a win. He knows how to motivate guys, and just in general, the style of football that the Browns play is like a chip on the shoulder, a hard nosed, good defense type of thing. My only issue and main reason why they're underdogs in this one is because of Deshaun Watson. Can you win with Deshaun Watson is the real question. Can you win despite of him, or are you winning in spite of him? So that's the real question that will be answered. But I do think Stefanski will scheme it up, Jerome Ford, get that offensive line going. I don't think they got the pass rush going as much as they wanted to against that Cowboys O line last week. I know they'll hunker in and make some improvements week 2. I think Jacksonville is right there in the AFC, right underneath that elite class, but like, kind of middling. But giving away that game to Miami last week kind of shows me the resolve that maybe they don't have, and which is a bummer. And they're not getting much efficiency from their running backs. Their old lines can't generate that much holes, so it's like I have some reservations about the Jaguars this early, and I think they can overcome them, and I think they should be favorites. But ultimately, I think that there's a clear and easy way that I can see them being overwhelmed by the defense of the Browns. At which case, the defense of the Jaguars isn't anything too impressive. So that's why I got the Browns upsetting the Jaguars.
it's a really good pick. I just want to say I feel disrespected by Vegas that they have the Giants as underdogs against the Commanders.
Are they?
Mhm.
Yeah, +3.
Wow.
I'm not even gonna pick the Giants because I know the Giants are gonna win. So we'll take that dub. Screw you, Vegas. But my real pick is gonna have to be New England,
Wow.
upsetting Seattle. I personally think Seattle's on the road, rookie head coach. Um, they're going in not looking as sharp to the Broncos and their rookie quarterback. And I think if the Patriots can play, I think the Patriots can play physical. Kenneth Walker is questionable. If the Patriots can play physical on both sides of the line and they play complementary football and they win in all 3 phases of like special teams, offense, defense, they will get that win in New England. And Gerard Mayo will be 2-0. So
Yeah,
I think
it's a bold pick.
that's a bold pick, but
Yeah, I
I can
like
see
it.
it happening. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Good picks. Good picks. Okay, guys. Anything else we want to add?
I just want to add 2 things.
Yeah.
Actually, um,
Okay.
I think the rookie running backs are slowly going to start taking over backfields in Tampa Bay. I think Bucky Irving is so much more efficient than Rashad White. I think Rashad White's overrated as hell. He had 15 carries for 30 yards. Like, be for real. And then I think Tank Bigsby is going to sneak in and take some of ETN's reps. I think they might have like a running back duo there. So watch out for those rookie running backs for real.
Mm. Okay. Anything else, Joseph?
Oh man, I don't know. One thing I would wanted to hear your opinion on is just
Okay.
what do you think about Anthony Richardson?
I like him. I mean, I thought he played well against Houston. Definitely showed off his arm in that game.
Yeah,
Um, so I think there's a lot of positives to look at with him, especially coming off injury as well. Like we're mentioning all these other quarterbacks, he was one of the more impressive ones. So I'm confident that he's going to be a really good quarterback in this league. I was talking about it last week. I don't think they're good enough to win the division, obviously with Houston in there, but I think this is a team that can continue to grow in confidence. You got Mitchell, the receiver they drafted. that, wasn't able to really put his imprint on the game. But I think there were like some spots where he could have been targeted a little bit more. So I think this team is going to grow as the year goes on, and eventually you'll kind of see them hit their mark if Richardson can stay healthy,
Yeah.
towards the latter half of the season. So
Really,
I like Richardson though.
I've seen Tim Tebow comps. How deep are you with that one?
Oh, that is insane.
That's
Tim
nasty.
Tebow, that's bad. That's no,
Hey,
He's
that's
Cam, he's literally Cam Newton.
he's not
all
Cam
they did
Newton.
was go to the same college. That was it.
He looks like Cam Newton. That's what his player
He's
comp is to me.
he's strong arm. I don't know if he have the body weight of a Cam
Oh,
Newton.
he might be a little bigger than Cam Newton.
He,
No. He's
We
like
can
no.
check real quick
He's not
because
talking about like bigger. He's talking about
what are you
like
talking
bigger,
about?
like just like who can take more hits. Like
No, what are you referring to, my
Cam
coach?
Newton is built like a running
all
back.
right, yeah. I
They're
feel like
both
Cam
though.
Newton. I feel like Josh Allen is more like a Cam Newton. That's all I'm saying. Well,
Yeah,
let
I
me.
agree.
I think he
I see
okay.
what you-
Anthony Richardson's a little bit more buffer than Cam Newton. Then, if we're gonna go that route, and he's a little bit
It's not
faster.
Yeah.
about the buffness. It's about like more like
Physique?
thickness. Like
Yeah, you're talking about physique.
yeah, his physique is a little slimmer, and Josh Allen and Cam Newton are like more bulkier. Like
Okay, I'm talking. You're talking
stockier.
about physique. I'm talking
Yeah,
more player comp too. Like his player comp, like if his ceiling is Cam
I
Newton.
see this Cam
Yeah.
Newton. I because Cam Newton's biggest issue is accuracy in the middle of the field. So that's literally what Richardson's
He's
dealing with.
literally Cam Newton, and then
I
Cam
can
Newton
see what
got
you're talking about.
derailed
Yeah.
by injuries.
Yeah,
He got derailed by injuries, and that's Anthony Richardson's like biggest downfall.
yeah.
And I kind
Hmm.
of don't like him because I have Jonathan Taylor, and he's starting to eat at his reps on fantasy, so I go crazy. But we'll see what happens against the Packers.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to get that on record. I'm just curious where people stand on him.
Yeah, appreciate the question. Yeah, but that was everything. Episode 93 of the Finale podcast. Obviously, um, a little bit of a different format this year, but hopefully we can get you guys on again soon. Just let me know whenever you guys are willing, and we'll definitely bring you guys on again. But yeah, hopefully, good luck to the Giants this week. Of course, stay home on a personal level, bounce back week. And then
Appreciate
Yosef, obviously our Vikings are having a big test this week. Let's see what happens, man. But
it.
yeah, thank you guys for coming on, and we will see you guys for episode 94. Peace.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you for having us.
Yeah.